Good evening and welcome to Life Ahead here on PBS Fort Wayne. I think you're going to find tonight's show very reasonable in terms of things you might need to know. And that's what we try to do here on our show, Life Ahead, is give you information and education that can help you with decisions or events, life events that you have to face and some choices you have to make. So tonight we're going to be talking about probate, and don't think of that as a negative word. We don't look at it like that at all, but you have an opportunity to call us here with questions, and we have some experts in the field. First of all, I'll introduce you, if you don't know her already, Heidi Adair. Heidi, so glad you're back.
Thanks.
Heidi is an elder law attorney, so she deals with clients and sending them, or easing them through probate fairly regularly. Mm-hmm. And this is the guy you have to deal with if you go to probate court. This is Magistrate Houk. Thank you for coming.
Well, it's always my pleasure, Sandy, to be on the show. And you're right, probate is not a dirty word at all.
And that's what we want to convince people, because, I mean, I hear people that literally groan when you talk about probate. Oh, how do I get out of it? And I hear it's awful. Well, we're going to give them some reasons why it can be done easily. Yeah?
It's one of the oldest forms of law there is, and it's tried and it's true and it works. And in Allen County, we like to think we have a big machine here that just gets the job done.
Well, I'm going to ask him again, because we've talked about this before. It's really interesting to me. First of all, what does probate mean? And secondly, how far back does it go?
Yeah, how far back does it go? I did some research on this a few years ago, and probate is probably the oldest form of law that there is.
Really?
And, I mean, our law here our probate law here in the United States comes from the Magna Carta originally. It can be traced back to that, to Great Britain. And what is probate?
He doesn't know.
If Steve Adair was here, he would give us the actual term. But it's the basically, it describes the process of the administration of people's estates after they die.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay. All right. That's simple enough. Heidi, you want to add to that?
I think that sums it up.
All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad now you know what it is, so you can go to work tomorrow and feel like you know it.
Yeah, no, 39 years now I've been doing it.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. Well, I think of maybe because I watch a lot of historical shows and documentaries and whatever, but I love things about like the Roman Empire and life during those times. So they would have a magistrate that would they were long flowing.
Yeah, magistrate is a title that has gone in and out of history at different, and you can call me anything you want, but the title that we use here in Indiana, which is a kind of a subset of the judges, is magistrates. We have a slightly different
prefer?
role. Well, I mean, I am a magistrate, so you can call me magistrate, but people call me judge in the courtroom all the time. That's fine.
Okay.
But magistrates have a slightly different role under the law than judges have. But
explain that, because I never really knew the difference.
Well, it's almost identical, but judges have administrative responsibilities that magistrates don't. We're just more pure crank out decisions and things like that, and the judges have supervisory tasks that they also are engaged in. So,
do you have to do both or no?
Do I have to do both?
No, because you're a magistrate.
I'm just a magistrate, so it's just
I think that's really
an
important thing.
He's a great magistrate.
Well, thank you.
If you need a guardianship or probate matters, I tell clients before we go to the court to see Magistrate Houk, do not be nervous. He is kind, empathetic.
Has a sense of humor.
Yes.
See all these nice things where he's tall, things that are important.
You don't have any cases coming up in front of you tomorrow?
No, none in front, no.
No, I think after having done the job so long, you do kind of get into a rhythm of how this thing works. And you also find that people come into us in a lot of emotional situations.
Oh, sure.
Of course, for a variety of reasons. And it's important to try and put people at ease in the courtroom. A lot of people are really scared.
Oh, nervous, I know. Well,
understandably.
It's like, going to the principal's office, you know.
And I like to be able to do things to try and I think I'm reasonably good at it, putting them at ease.
Heidi brought up something that you do in addition to helping people, get through solving the estate process, handling guardianships. And that's a big thing too, isn't it? Do you have how much time or how many cases a year would you spend doing that?
Well, I've probably done, I was actually thinking about this earlier today because somebody else was asking me the question. I think in my career I've done about 10,000 guardianships.
Oh my gosh.
And
wow.
yeah, and guardianships can be over adults or they can be over children. There's a variety of different situations that can lead to the need for that. But 10,000 guardianships, but probably in the neighborhood of 35,000 estates have been administered.
Really?
So my signature is on so much stuff.
You could be in so much trouble.
So much stuff I could, that I think that when I finally do decide to retire from this gig, my signature is going to live on for a really long time because it's on a lot of documents.
Do you use an auto pen?
In effect, we do now.
Really?
There are electronic. I've almost
Explain those to me. I'm not sure how that works.
Well, the stuff gets filed online, and you just click a button, and my signature I just point at the line, and my signature goes right on it. It's digitally that's how most.
Okay, so you like originally you'll write your signature.
Yeah, they have my real signature.
It's a cut and paste kind of a thing.
Kind of, but it's even more advanced than that because I don't cut or paste anything. I just hit a button and my signature goes on the line. So,
well, if you're doing 35,000 of them, then I guess that's okay.
I used to, I just all the time, and now it's just click, click, click.
Mm-hmm.
We're all slaves to our computer screens anymore.
Aren't we though?
Yeah.
Unbelievable what it is. Well, and speaking of even the technology, as many cases as you've had, I don't expect you to remember, but I remind you every year when you come that he did a guardianship for my granddaughter, and you did, but it was during COVID, so you did it online.
Okay.
You did it FaceTime.
We did a Zoom hearing.
Zoom, that was it. Yeah.
And those were very interesting times, and we're very proud in Allen County that we were one of the first courts in the entire state that was able to pivot immediately, and we lost very few court days when everything had to shut down because we transitioned into that. Those Zoom hearings really quickly. We got authority from the Supreme Court to do hearings in that fashion, and I didn't particularly think
like it.
No, you're right. I think the personal touch of having people in the courtroom is really super important.
But you were able to do estate decisions and everything online.
We had to. We had to keep.
Were you
going.
in the courtroom? Or were you at home?
No, I literally was sitting in the courtroom.
Okay.
We found that was a really good place to go because nobody was there.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to worry about my court reporter, and we would sit 12 feet apart, and she would make the record, and I would sit in the courtroom, and we're the only two people in the courthouse sometimes. So.
Well, we remember that time well here on Life Ahead, and Heidi will too. Talk about like nobody here kind of thing. We kept doing this show. We never missed a show during that whole period of time.
Wow.
But for a long period, it was me sitting here and the people running cameras and in the control room. And the guests would be in their office. Heidi did Zoom with me several times.
I did one of those shows. I was sitting in my office. I did. I do recall doing that,
And, it's like it worked.
It worked better than you would think that it would. Yeah.
I felt really lonely sitting out here all by myself.
Yeah, I think for TV it translates a little bit better than in the courtroom.
Yeah.
It's really important for me to be able to judge people and to make eye contact in a real way, and obviously it's important for me to be able to judge people. That's what I do, right?
That's what you do all day long.
I really need to have those folks in front. I just can sense things better, I think, a lot better if we're sitting right across from each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, since he's in charge of probate decisions, what are some of the most common cases that you have that come before you in court?
Well, most of the cases, and I think Heidi would agree, they go pretty smoothly. It's the administration of people's estates, and it's pretty one step after another. We just get those things done. The first thing you do. Why don't you describe the process?
Heidi.
The first thing you do is
start with you.
marshal the assets.
Yeah, you file to have a personal representative appointed, and that then gives them authority to go to different institutions and figure out what assets the deceased person had. And then you file an inventory that says what there was, and work on making sure their bills get paid and their taxes get paid. It's just a very orderly process to help someone get through someone's passing. And that's why I don't think probate's a dirty word either.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people really do need the help of someone guiding them through.
Yeah.
Even, what do I do with dad's mail? They don't know what to do.
Right,
And
right.
so this process just gives them a place to centralize everything and get all their questions answered.
What's difficult for people that come to you and need you to help them settle their estate and take it to probate? I don't know if I'm using the terminology correctly.
I think people just often are overwhelmed with where to even start. You know, you've got a whole house full of things to deal with, and they have no idea maybe where their assets are. And we say, go home and find the income tax return. Let's start with the income tax return, because that'll tell us where their bank accounts were and if they had a 401k or an IRA. So it's just helping people know where to get started.
And it will help that person who's your personal representative if you have things kind of prepared for them. Maybe leave a book with passwords and, you know, account numbers and things that they're going to need to know.
It's also really good to have the talk.
To have them what?
To have the talk. You know, explain
let's
to your
talk about that.
Explain to your kids what you know what you have, and I know my father did that with me and my mom, and
really
said,
they do.
Here's where the stuff, the life insurance policies, things of that nature. So I was familiar with all that stuff when the time came.
Well, it's difficult, I think, from what I hear, for people, especially maybe of your parents' era, to talk about money and finances because I don't know, there's a mindset of it's private, and they don't even want to share that with their kids sometimes.
Well, I would say my dad still was pretty private as far as balances and things like that, but generally to describe what, we have a brokerage account, here's where that's at, and here's the life insurance policies and things like that. But actually by later in his life, we were helping him a lot with those things and tax returns and things like that. So we were pretty familiar with him, but it helped that we had that knowledge, and it also helps to, if you share with your children, I think Heidi would agree that if you share with your children those things, if they are your heirs, if you intend to leave things to them, and sometimes you don't, that it helps to forestall or keep away any disputes that can take place later, because you already know up front. There's no surprises. There's fewer surprises.
Fewer surprises. Well, when we make decisions, let's say you're getting ready to update your will or make a will, perhaps, what are some of the most important things, Heidi, that people should come to you as an attorney with to prepare their documents?
You know, you need to decide who you want to leave things to. And is it children? Is it grandchildren? Do you come from a blended family? Those types of things. So you want to be prepared to have that kind of conversation. You want to know who you're going to name as your personal representative or executor, who's going to be in charge of things when you pass away. And having a good listing of your assets is also really helpful, because a lot of your assets don't even go through probate. They don't go according to what your will says. And people often just don't understand that part of the planning.
That, like what would and what wouldn't, generally.
An asset that is jointly titled, like my husband and I have a joint bank account.
Yeah.
Even if my will leaves everything to the children and leaves him out, he still gets that because we jointly own something. Something with a beneficiary on it goes outside of probate. And you know, the thing that, you know, I'm an estate planning lawyer. I think about weird things at night, but so many.
She lays awake at night.
Yeah, I do
thinking
too.
about these crazy
do
things.
You?
About all these issues. Anyway.
But so many, you know, bankers and investment people or avoid probate, get a transfer on death, or put a beneficiary on all of these things. And that makes me nervous because you can come to me and do your will that may just be absolutely meaningless if you've got beneficiaries on all these things. And you,
Because that takes priority.
it takes priority.
Even if it's different than what your will says,
Right.
you go by what you put as your beneficiary on your
Right.
IRA or whatever
Correct.
your investment
And
is.
some things, legitimately need to have beneficiaries on them. But to try to just put a beneficiary on everything makes me nervous. So
Really?
it kind of does. It doesn't leave us any money as a pool of money to pay bills, pay the
Oh, I
last funeral
see.
bill, pay the taxes, pay the utilities for the home until it's sold.
Well, what do you recommend people do?
I like to leave some amount of money going through probate so that in the estate there is some asset of cash there.
Okay.
So that there's something there to
Like
pay
a
bills.
checking account or savings account? or a
Checking,
bank or
savings,
something?
maybe your brokerage account, let it go through
Okay.
probate. Just let the IRAs, the annuities, the life insurance, put beneficiaries on those things.
Okay.
But maybe not on everything else.
Because you need that money to pay the bills that are coming in that maybe you weren't even aware of, or to pay
Right.
taxes. You'd have to
Right.
have
And
those to pay.
sometimes people want to peel off money for grandkids. $100,000 to grandkids, $40,000.
Yeah.
If we don't have enough money running through the estate because it all went with a beneficiary, those things aren't going to get paid.
Yeah.
So it's important, it's putting a puzzle together, and it's important to really, I think, work with an attorney to help you make sure it's all really
the
going the
pieces
way
are
you
there.
want it.
You said, a lot of people don't even know how to start. And I think that's so true. I've talked with people that all of a sudden their spouse is gone and they haven't been the one that's been paying the bills and
Right.
taking care of things. Those were, left to the spouse, and they don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, yeah.
know.
That's
And,
we
and
have-
this is at a time where they're also trying to plan a funeral and
right.
all the
And
other
in the age
emotional
of
things.
technology, if one spouse is technologically good and one doesn't have any idea
Yeah.
what's going on, and all the bills are coming in email, and
That's not uncommon anymore.
Oh no! And so I really try to encourage people to get both parts of the couple at least understanding what's happening with bills.
What do you find, Magistrate Houk? What do you find is challenging in that area?
Well, first of all, I think I need to go home tonight and ask my wife what bills we're paying. Because she is
Is she the one that takes care
really
of those?
good at all that.
Well, and that's
I
why there's
let her do it.
that's why there's one person tends to do that because they're the one that's adept at doing that.
One thing that is in this process that causes problems is things that have nothing to do with the administration, but when there are children that have not gotten along for whatever reason for long periods of time, when it comes time to administer an estate or to take care of mom and dad's estate, money will cause friction. Without a doubt.
I've heard that, that sometimes
And that's
it
when
really
I-
divides the family.
Yeah, and that's when I get to unfortunately have to see a lot of those are the cases.
Is that when you decide then?
Well, I have to make sure that things are followed the way they're supposed to under the law, but people will challenge certain things, and so those are sad situations, can be. But they usually don't have anything to do with the actual probate. There's usually a path that's well defined as to how it's going to happen. But folks usually they'll if they didn't get along with Sister Sue for 40 years, they're probably not going to get along during that process.
It might even be more
They
aggravated.
take issue with things that are just crazy, getting upset over the things in the house, which I know are meaningful to people, but they're not worth a lot of money usually, and you're spending more money fighting over those things
fighting over that
than what it
item.
is. Yes, so
I remember one of the first times that you were here when I
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I think
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls teacups.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you tell the story then.
Well, it just had those as Heidi just said. grandma's teacup collection from Niagara Falls or whatever it was. I don't know why I said that night, but probably if you sent it on an auction, it might go for $5 or something. But those things with that sort of intrinsic or the value to people.
It's a sentimental or emotional thing.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. The sentimental value. People will fight like crazy over those things, and they do.
What happened, Heidi, I don't know if you were here for that show or not, but it was one of the first shows that I did with you. And I said, what are some of the things that people, we talked about sibling or family, dissension here. And I asked you, what are some of the things that they fight over the most that you have to decide which one's going to get it? And you said, well, it's not the house, the cottage, the farmland, it's the set of
it's the teacups.
Niagara Falls teacups.
And there are solutions to those things. It's not
like
that,
how? How do you make the decision?
Well, if they can't agree who's
they
going to
cry?
get them, if they're both entitled to, like, let's say you have two heirs and they're both entitled to split the whole estate, and they're both fighting over this one particular asset, well, they either come to an agreement or it goes up for auction, and then whoever wants to pay the most money for it can get it. That's one process.
So they could get it if they pay the money,
they want to pay
or
for
it could be somebody else that
you
wins
can't
the
agree
auction.
on it, and that's okay. I mean, sometimes that's fair. That's a fair way to go about doing it.
You said that you prefer to have them in the courtroom so you can see the people.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? If Heidi brings a client
in. I'm watching you really closely right now, lady.
I'm in trouble.
I don't know. You do, after you've been in this business as long as I have, you do pick up on things, and you can tell when people are nervous. You can tell when and maybe they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that can tell you things. And it's easy to judge credibility. Easier to judge credibility when you're looking at somebody in person.
Yeah.
The process is more formal in the courthouse. I mean, during Zoom, I mean, the people were at home and they're
in their pajamas.
Well, that's the story, and yeah, that probably did happen more than once in my virtual courtroom. It's just a more formal process, I think, that leads to a better judicial process, because it is a serious thing and it needs to be taken serious, and it can't be treated as somebody sitting on their couch in their living room.
But we're so lucky to have you and people in that position, because it's like you have the authority and you're like up here with those decisions. It's
well,
like,
about up here.
I'm trying to elevate
but
you
I appreciate that. No.
It's like, if your parent or grandparent has dementia and it's time to take away the car keys, it's a hard thing for the kids to do that. They don't want dad to be mad at them, and they often say, well, have the doctor tell them it's time for them to quit, because doctors are up here too.
Well, and those sorts of issues do come up in those guardianship cases we
do
talked
they really?
about. Well, that's often part of it. And I think my own personal life experiences have been helpful in that regard. Having had elderly parents myself, I've been in this business a long time. I've seen a lot, and I think I can do a better job when families are facing those sorts of difficult situations. It's not just me banging the hammer and saying, here's the decision. We try really hard in this process to give people solutions that go beyond just a signature on a line, and to try to keep people together and to help them to see their way through.
So they leave the courtroom feeling satisfied.
Well, hopefully, that's a goal. And I always tell, and I many times I have lawyers in my office, and I say, and we see there's a dispute between siblings or whoever, and I say, okay, folks, how are we going to save this family?
Yeah.
What can we do to give them a chance? So they're obviously got a serious dispute here. But what can we do to give them a chance to at least walk away with, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and it's probably going to be a little bit of both for both of them.
But that's what I mean when, like, you're up here. They can leave saying, well, the judge decided, rather than my sister or my brother or cousin.
It's definitely important for some folks to have their day or for many folks to have their day in court.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I've seen situations where I thought, there is no way these people will ever get along again, ever. they've come into court, they've had their say, they got through it all, and they walked out holding hands.
Yep.
Figuratively, maybe not literally, but it seemed like they got it off their chest, and so there can be that cathartic experience as well.
their chance.
That can be very valuable.
Had their chance to make their case. Well, I hope you've enjoyed a Life Ahead here this evening. And we're on, by the way, every Wednesday night at 7:30 here in the studio, different topics each week as well. Heidi, thank you. Heidi always has such a good show for us here.
You're welcome.
And again, an elder law attorney, so thank you for your expert advice.
Yeah.
Magistrate, I'll see you next December, won't I?
Probably. Good chance of it if I get asked back.
Or maybe you'll all see him before I see him again. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching tonight, and have a good weekend.
The preceding program on PBS Fort Wayne was made possible in part by
Beers Mallers, elder law attorneys, providing information on legal matters of guardianship and financial issues relating to nursing home care. Beers Mallers attorneys can also assist with Medicaid requirements and help navigate difficult family situations. Beers Mallers, attorneys at law, with offices in Fort Wayne, LaGrange, and on the web at beersmallers.com.